Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, dear sisters. Hope all of you are doing well. I request Sister Mariam to start with the Qiraat, please. Today's session is based on Surah At-Tin. Sister Mariam, please start with the Qiraat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khair, dear Sister Mariam, for the beautiful Qiraat. Yes, dear sisters, now let's start with this session. I request all of you to recite the Root Sharif. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Yes. So today's session is based on Surah At-Tin. Now let me start with the summary of this surah. So Surah At-Tin emphasizes the creation of humans in the best form, okay, and highlights their potential for moral and spiritual decline. So this surah tells us about the best form that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us humans in. Allah takes an oath by the fig olive Mount Sinai and the secure city of Makkah to underline his message. So humans, though created in the finest shape, can degrade themselves through immoral behavior and to the lowest depths of society. Okay, so they have the potential to reach the highest mountain peaks or to the highest ranks, and they have the potential to degrade themselves to the lowest. Okay, except those who believe and do good deeds. Such believers are promised everlasting rewards. The surah concludes by emphasizing Allah's justice and posing a rhetorical question regarding the day of judgment. Okay, so now, dear sisters, let's start with the ayat by ayat, inshallah, tafsir. Okay, so in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Was Zaytun. Here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath of the fig and olive. Okay, so the whole Juzz Amma is full of oaths, full of different, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is emphasizing different things, bringing different aspects to our attention. Now here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about two things which are very common, that is fig and olive. Okay, so he's taking the oath of fig and olive. Also, here this ayat tells us that both fig and olive are very beneficial for human health. So we should see whatever fruits and vegetables that are mentioned in the Quran, we should try to consume it daily, on daily basis, and we should try to imbibe these things into our life so that it will really benefit us. So now here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath on two very simple creations of his, that is fig and olive. And then he's taking the oath of Mount Sinai. Now, can you tell me what is the importance of Mount Sinai? It was there in the story of whom? Can any sister tell me? Mount Sinai was there in story. Anybody remembers? Fire, good. Musa al-Islam, very good, yes. So Mount Sinai is significant because of its importance in the story of Musa al-Islam. Very good. Now, again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the third ayat is taking an oath of the city, the secure city, that is Makkah. So, since Makkah started getting inhabited till now, it is one of the most secure cities in the world. You will not find a single, data of crime there. Very less criminal cases happen there. It is so secure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted its security. And also you will get fruits and vegetables and all the risk of the world. Everything is available there now. Alhamdulillah. So it is a city which is very rich in cultural terms, in terms of risk, as well as it is the most important place of worship. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now bringing our attention to this city, which he has secured, which is secure, which is a place of security and peace. That is the city of Makkah. Okay. So, and I think all of you must be knowing the story of how Makkah came, how it was inhabited. You know the story? Who was the first person who was there in Makkah? Or two people were there. Who were they? Can you tell me? Do you remember what is the story of Makkah? It's very significant. Yes. Hajra al-Islam. Yes, right. Rahimullah Allah. Yes. And Ismail al-Islam. Very good. Jazakallah khair. Exactly. So Hajra Rahimullah Allah and Ismail al-Salam were the two people who were the first citizens of Makkah, and only after them the whole city started being inhabited and the whole city became what it is today. And also it is the beautiful story of sacrifice by a woman, and how a woman raised a single child as raised a child as a single parent, and the kind of good tarbiyah, the best tarbiyah that she gave her child. Yes, Ibrahim al-Islam's wife. And when Ibrahim al-Islam had left her and was leaving her and going from Makkah, so she asked him, why are you leaving me here? So Ibrahim al-Islam replied that it is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just on that command, she became so content. Otherwise, imagine a single woman staying in a deserted place. There was nobody there, not even water was available. She was the only person and with a small child in her arms. So the kind of contentment, the kind of tawakkul and the kind of faith the lady had, it is unimaginable. And this is the faith of a woman. See how the faith of a single woman helped the whole city to get inhabited. If she did not have tawakkul on Allah, or she did not have this kind of strong faith, what would have happened? She would have requested her husband, or she didn't want to or couldn't have stayed there alone. But she did. See, she stood up to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even if nobody is there, wherever you are, even if nobody is following the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to follow it alone. There may be times when you are all alone, maybe in your college, maybe in your school, maybe in any other place, maybe in a wedding party. You can see everybody, what they are doing, they are not wearing any parda or hijab in a wedding party. Everybody is dressed and with high amount of makeup and everything. But even if you are the single person, you should not think that only I am there, I should also follow the crowd. No. Only if a single person follows the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it can benefit the whole humanity. So we should always think in that terms, that if nobody is doing, let me do it. Let me be the person who stands up for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like a single woman stood up, with her deep faith and her strong faith and her tawakkul and her trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent you. This is a miraculous way how the Zamzam water came, and how she ran for it 7 times between 2 mountains. So it is a very, very beautiful story of resilience, of patience, of deep faith of a woman. So here, when I read about this secure city of Makkah, I am reminded about this beautiful story of Hajra Rahimullah alayh and Ismail al-Islam. And the way she did the tarbiyah, she brought up her son. You know, when he was 10 years old, he didn't know Ibrahim al-Islam. He did not know him. So when he was 10 years old, his father came and met him. And then his father asked him to sacrifice himself. He was ready to do it. Just imagine the kind of faith her mother instilled in him, in her son. So it is a very, very beautiful story. And whenever I read about this city, I am reminded about this story. Okay. And here also, this ayat should act as a reminder for all of us. Now, coming to the next ayat, ayat 4. Verily, we created man in the best stature. Now, see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that He has created us human beings, or that man, in the beautiful and the best stature. He has given the best form, the most proportionate way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us. You know, if we keep on talking about the human body, we can easily talk about the different aspects of our body. It will be non-stop. We cannot even count blessing. Last time I had discussed about the eyes, then I can discuss about the respiratory system, the reproductive system, whatever. Take up any aspect of the human body, the brain. Even today, people have not been, the scientists have not been able to completely understand the human brain and how it functions. The quick way the commands are sent, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, immediately the brain signals and I'm able to speak, or any one of us is able to speak. So quickly the signals are moved from one place to another in the brain. Similarly, for each and every function, the brain signals are moving so quickly. So people, even till date, technology has advanced so much, but scientists have not been able to unravel the mystery or the mysterious creation of the brain. They are trying, they are researching, they're doing things, but they have not been able to reach that and understand it completely. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us humans in the best stature. So He made us ashraful makhlukat. I hope you all know this term. Allah has made man as ashraful makhlukat, the best of all creations. Now it is upon us that how we use this stature, whether we honor it, whether we honor ourselves by following the Quran, by obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger, or we follow our nafs, or we follow the world. And what we become? We become even lower than animals. We acquire the lowest of the low, the lowest depths of humanity. And it is happening these days. You can hear so many cases, such cases where you are even amazed at how a human being can do this kind of oppression. You know, it's very common now how people are killing each other, how people are oppressing each other, even people are oppressing their parents. Each and every day a new amazing story comes up which really amazes you, and it really saddens you as well. And one is really saddened and depressed when one hears how a human being is capable of inflicting so much of pain to another human being. They have become even worse than animals. No animal will inflict such kind of pain on any fellow animal. You know, you will never find one animal inflicting or oppressing another animal, but human beings are doing it on themselves, and not only on themselves, they are literally oppressing each and everything, other creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us best, it is up to us how we use this stature. We use our stature, our high position, to achieve higher, or we slip down to the lowest of the low. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in ayat 5, then we reduced him to the lowest of the low. Okay, after giving us, making us this high, giving us this high stature, creating us like that, we were reduced to the lowest of the low. Now, coming to the next ayat 6, telling us how we are able to, or how we'll be able to achieve higher ranks, that is, except those who believe in Islamic monotheism and do righteous deeds. So what will happen? They'll be able to achieve high ranks with their Lord. Then they shall have a reward without end. That is paradise. So those the believers, what will happen? They will have great reward. And what is their reward? Their reward is paradise. So belief as well as righteous deeds both are very important. Both are sides of one coin. If one face of the coin is belief, the other face of the coin has to be righteous deeds. Otherwise, one is incomplete without the other. Correct? Suppose if I just have faith and I just profess my faith by my tongue, or maybe I have it in my heart but I don't show it on my deeds, or I don't do follow it by actions, then it is complete. Similarly, if I'm doing very good actions, I'm doing righteous work, but I don't have faith, again it will be incomplete. So only those believers who believe, who have faith, and who do righteous good deeds, they will be able to achieve higher ranks with their Lord, and they shall have a reward, and they will be able to come out high and escape this lowerness. Coming to the next ayat, ayat 7. Then what or who causes you, O disbelievers, to deny the recompense, that is the day of resurrection? Now here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking a question, posing a question to mankind, or to the disbelievers. After knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after seeing his creation, see, there are two kinds of ayats, two kinds of signs. One ayat is the ayat of the Quran, and the other ayat or signs are the signs in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the universe. If you have a sound mind, if you are a human being and you have a thinking brain, and you are able to think, then you will naturally reach the fact that everything, the whole universe, cannot be created just like that. It has not created without any purpose. You will be able to understand faith. Sooner or later, you will come to Islam. Just like Ibrahim al-Islam had a heart which was pure, he was able to come to Islam. And then he became a prophet, and he guided others to it also. Okay? So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is questioning us here. Then what or who causes you, O disbelievers, to deny the recompense? So how are we denying the recompense? Can you tell me? Yes, sisters, I wanted to write. Please type. How are we denying the recompense, or how are the disbelievers denying this day? Yes, they do not accept, right? Yes, they do any injustice to anyway. Again, revisiting this surah, one of the reasons of how we know what is the way they are denying. They are denying the recompense by their deeds, or by their oppression, or by their going low. They don't think that they are going to die, or they will have to give account to anybody. They are like, just completely, they feel that the non-believers, the disbelievers, or those who deny the judgment day, they feel that whatever it is this world, and they're completely deceived and caught up by the world. Everything they're doing for this world. And by doing this, what is happening? They are pushing themselves or degrading themselves into the lower depths. You can see all forms of oppression, all forms of different or bad things that is happening in this world today. Recently, there was a case against I think you must have all have heard about, there was a vlogger, and he was basically a content creator, and the way he used a very dark kind of joke. He used some wrong words for parents, although he was an Indian. So although it was raised up in the parliament as well, and people didn't like it, but there are people who are watching this content, they're happy, they're enjoying these kinds of things. They do exist people, that's why he had done this kind of thing. although the majority of people don't like. But I was amazed and I was really sad at the lower or the degradation of the human tongue. How low can a person get? The kind of joke he was making. So I don't know whether of all of you must have heard it or not, but it is happening, and it is very common on social media. Even in the music videos, Alhamdulillah, we don't watch it, but we know the kind of content it is there. All the dirty things that they are motivating the youth towards, and our youth are mad of after these videos, after this music, these Beyonce and whatever those singers are. They are just leading the human beings into depths of darkness. What are they doing? Where are they leading the youth? They are degrading the youth. Nothing productive from their music, nothing good from the music, all everything negative. So society is slowly, especially the youth, slowly is being led towards degradation, to the lower depths. So what we have to do, the only thing which will take us out from this darkness to this, from this degradation, is faith. Okay, human values have become literally nothing. You can see small children in schools, the way they are behaving with their parents, the way they are behaving with their teachers. When the moment a student becomes a teenager, he or she thinks that I'm everything. It is happening these days, and the media, social media, plus the other media, and every other kind of these people, what they are doing, they're literally leading us into this kind of things. They are all leading us astray. Our youth are being led astray. Human values are degrading so much everywhere. You pick up something, you pick up the newspaper, you watch any video. If something comes up when you're flicking your phone and we're watching your phone, if any ad comes up, you can see the level of degradation that has come in the society, in the social media, in the media itself. Okay, so the only thing which will be able to take us out, which will be make us which will help a human being become a good human being, is by having true faith and at the same time doing righteous good deeds. What is Islam about? Islam is all about serving others. Islam is all about helping others. What are the good deeds that is there? Allah's Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was asked, what is this is the hadith, mafhum of a hadith, what are the best deeds? He said, what did he say? The best deeds are greeting uh, others and feeding others, spreading salam and feeding others. So everywhere we are taught human values. The best of Muslims are those who are best in character. So Islam is building our character. It is here, our faith is here to build our character, to make us the best human beings. And what the world is doing, the world is degrading us. And we are following it. We are following the footsteps of the shaitan. Drugs have become so common. Relationships have become so common. You can see school children. They are teasing each other. If a small school kid, maybe of 6th or 7th grade, he's not having a girlfriend or boyfriend, he's literally teased by his fellow students in school that you are a old fashioned person, you're an uncle, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have a boyfriend. These things are encouraged, they have become trendy. So the society is pushing our youth, our children, to the lower depths. Now what will take us out from this? Faith. Only iman can take us out of this. Okay, and the best human being or the best person is the one, or the best Muslim is the one who has the best character. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself validates the character of our messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says in the Quran, it is the mafhum of this ayat is, you are on the best characters, you have the best character. So our beloved Prophet ﷺ had the best character, and we are his followers. So we have to follow him. We have to become the best, inshallah. So how can we how are the disbelievers One has to has a certain stature, certain status in society. Only then one is satisfied, right? So all these things are happening and it will keep on happening. This is what is degrading us human beings. No matter how the wealth is coming, we want wealth. Whether it is halal or haram, we don't care. We have to have so the more we have, the more we are wanting. And thus, what is happening? We are degrading ourselves, running after materials. Materialism has become so common in our societies. Everywhere you can see that. Even small kids, they are talking about material things. My father has this car, my uncle has this car, my father's salary is this much. So, what the conversations today you hear from youth, you hear from children, it is all about materialism. College girls, what they are talking about? They are talking about brands. Okay, so more and more the society is developing, the technology is developing, the more and more we are degrading ourselves as human beings. So what is going to take us through this, what is going to take out and what is going to help us achieve higher ranks, that is iman, followed by righteous deeds. Okay, now at the end of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, is not Allah the best of judges? Now after telling us human beings about our deeds and then about how we are going to achieve success or higher ranks through doing righteous deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is then reminding us about the hereafter and how the disbelievers, or what is making the disbelievers deny this hereafter. He is asking this question, and at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the last ayat of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that is or questioning us, is not Allah the best of judges? So do we agree? Right. Allah is the best of judges. Okay. Let me read. Some sisters, alhamdulillah, have sent messages. Yes. Loss of morality. They don't trust Allah. Okay. This was not coming, was not audible. I think someone has written, maybe some network issue at your end. Okay. So now let me quickly move on to the reflection and the action points from this surah. Okay, now, sisters, I would like to ask you, what are the human qualities that you love in a human being? Or what would you like to see in your friend or maybe your kids? What human qualities that you like, that Islam promotes? Can you list down? Honesty, integrity, and loyalty. What else? Truthfulness, very good. Yes. Kindness, brotherhood, exactly. So these are the qualities which are promoted by a deen. And you know, when one individual has these qualities, what happens? He or she is someone which whom we love. Don't you love a person who is very kind? Don't we like to be with a person who's very kind-hearted, who's truthful, who's honest? We all love that person. We all want to be with that person. So it is natural human nature to love good things, to love good qualities. Yes, no, none of us would like to be with someone who is very rude. So the best qualities come only through faith, strong faith. Yes. Empathy, kindness, jazakallah. Yeah. So now let me quickly move to the reflection and the action points. Yes, so this is a very important point, just like we discussed now, that we all of us love the good qualities in any human being. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us innate moral compass. There's a fitra in all of us. which makes us love good things. And what happens? We kill the fitra through our greed, through the deceptions of the world. We leave the fitra, okay, and we run after the world. Yes. Now, quickly, let me tell you 10 important reflection points. Now, Allah swears by His creation, emphasizing their significance. So, even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about His creation. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath in the previous surahs we had seen that He's taking an oath of the sun and the moon. Now, here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking an oath of a very small but a very significant creation of His, that is fig and olive. Okay, so this is showing us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only creator of all that exists. Okay, so and human beings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about all His creations, bringing our attention to His creations, and at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that human beings are His best or most perfect creation. See, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the sun, the moon, the stars, everything. But about whom He's talking that they are perfect? Human beings. And moral and ethical decay, what does it do? It lowers a person's status. They become lowest in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also us. Do we like people who are of low character or who are not honest? No, we don't like. Neither Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like nor people like such people. So faith and good deeds maintain one's spiritual elevation. And Allah will never abandon those who believe sincerely. Okay, Allah is always with them and Allah will love them and Allah will keep on raising their status until they reach their place in Jannah. And human dignity, value and honor is connected with righteousness. So the more righteous we are, the more honor and dignity we have. And when we reflect on the different divine nature and things, we are able to understand divine science or Allah's science. Also, there is always a constant struggle between virtue and vice in human nature. So in all of us, there's a constant struggle, right? Between virtue and vice, that is between good and evil. And human decline is not happening because of external factors only, but because of our internal choices. It is only the choices that we are making, what we are choosing. What we choose is what we become. If we choose the lower things, we become lower in status and in everything. And if we choose righteousness, faith, and good character, inshallah, we will be honored and always live in dignity. That is in paradise. Okay, and we have to also understand through this surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted free will to human beings. He has made us the best, no doubt, but He has granted us free will to choose what we want to, whether we choose righteousness or whether we choose wickedness or oppression. And this surah also compels us to think about the purpose of life and the ultimate return. Also, this surah reminds us about the hereafter and that we are soon going to return, and the real status a person has will be the status in the hereafter. Our real position will be the position in the hereafter. No matter how much wealth we have acquired illegally in this world, it is not going to help us. What will really help us is our good deeds or righteous deeds and our faith. Okay, so humans are also encouraged here to seek knowledge and wisdom from these divine signs, which will, what will it do? It will help increase our faith. Okay, so the rhetorical style at the end of the surah, what it does, it is urging the believers to self-reflect and evaluate that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is questioning, isn't He the best judges? And when we agree that He is the best judge, we have to completely obey Him, right? So that we are judged with the righteous. So now the action points we get from this is we should regularly reflect on Allah's creations, even the smallest creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the biggest of his creations. And we should keep on striving to maintain high moral standards. No matter what the situation is, we don't have to compromise in any way. Even if we have to stand alone, we have to stand alone with faith. No matter who is against, Allah is with us. Allah is with the believers. So we should never lose our morality in any way. Okay, and never be shy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should never be apologetic Muslims. Islam is not something we should be shameful about or apologetic about. We are Muslims, we should be proud about it. And then we should consistently engage in good deeds, irrespective of how small they are. We should not consider small good deeds as something low. What will happen? Only these small deeds that we keep on doing, they become huge mountains. Similarly for sins, the small things, sins that we do, ignoring them, they become huge mountains of sins. So we should never overlook the small things. That is either the good deeds, small good deeds that we do, or either the small sins that we do. Okay, here this surah is also bringing our attention to the small creation. So this is also brings our attention to this fact that even if our good deeds are small, we should not consider it as something irrelevant. And even if our sins are small, we should not consider it as irrelevant. It counts up. Each and every deed is being recorded. Then we should educate ourselves about the significance of sacred places. We all know the story of Makkah and Sinai. We should know it, especially the things that are mentioned in the Quran. And we should try every day to take out at least 5 to 10 minutes of contemplating on the Quran. What will happen? This will help us. Okay, this will give peace to us. And we should always maintain humility and recognize our potential for weakness and also our potential for good. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put this potential in us. So we should recognize this potential. And then we should set daily goals for acts of kindness and charity. No matter whatever you're doing, even of small, suppose you have an animal which is in your locality and you're feeding that animal every day, that deed is very important and it counts. Okay, suppose a stray dog is there in your locality and every day you're going and giving some, some bread to it or whatever you're giving, it's very important. That deed is also being counted. There was a person who was forgiven just because she gave water to the dog. She was a prostitute. It is the mom of Hadith, but she was forgiven just because of that action. So no matter how small deed we are doing, we should keep on doing the good deeds. Okay, and any small act of kindness is very important. So every day we should make it a point to do any kind act. Okay, and then we should start learning the Quran ourselves, pondering, thinking over it, working over it, striving with it in order to improve our character. It is a must. Until and unless we are connected with the Quran, our characters will not be the way it should be, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be. Okay, and we should always remember that we are going to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, thus motivating ourselves to become better human beings. Okay, so with that, alhamdulillah, my session is ending. And if any sister wants to add anything here or wants to say anything, please, you're free. If you want to discuss any okay. Would you like to share anything, any sister? Okay. Okay, so let's end our session. Jazakallah khair for being with us and listening to this session and joining us. Inshallah, we are looking forward to connect again, inshallah. Yes, I think some sister has typed a message. Let me read it. Yes, definitely. We are encouraged to consume these items. It's very important. You know, they have great health benefits. For example, olive has great health benefits. People are now leaving the other oils today and switching over to olive oil. And even fig has great health benefits. So whatever fruits are mentioned in the Quran, we should try to consume them. Okay, if it's easily available, it's okay. If you're not able to, it's okay, but it's good if we try to, inshallah. Yes, olive does not grow in India, right? But sometimes in markets, you know, you can find them in bottles. It's available. Maybe you can have one olive every day. Maybe you can have it sometime, or if not, it's okay. It's not a must. But whatever fruits, actually, was a question from a sister. That's why she asked me that are we encouraged? Yes, we are encouraged. If you find it easily and you can afford it, you should definitely consume it, inshallah. Okay, so with that, let me end my session, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Astaghfirullahi Rabbi min kulli zambi wa tubu ilayhi wa salamun alal mursaleen walhamdulillahi Rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.